Welcome to Debits Reasonable Compensation. In this walkthrough, you'll see how to go from a blank survey all the way to a finalized report in your client's hands, step by step with nothing left out. We'll cover the dashboard, building a survey, selecting roles from the BLS wage database, the generated report with AI analysis, customization, and what the experience looks like from your client's side. Let's dive in. Here's the core problem. When an S-Corp officer takes both salary and distributions, the IRS wants to see that their salary is reasonable for the work they do. Too low, and you invite an audit. Too high, and your client overpays on payroll taxes. Getting it right matters. Debits solves this by tapping into the Bureau of Labor Statistics wage database. You tell it what the officer does and how many hours they work, and Debits matches each role to real occupation data, pulling wage percentiles for their specific location and skill level. The analysis can use up to 3 approaches. The cost approach, sometimes called the many hats method, adds up BLS wages for every role the officer fills. The market approach benchmarks against the industry. The income approach factors in company revenue. Debits blends all 3 into one defensible number. The workflow is straightforward. Draft, in progress, completed, finalized, and delivered. You build the survey, complete it to generate the report, finalize it to lock everything down and produce the PDF, then deliver it to your client. Let me show you how each stage works. Open reasonable compensation from the sidebar, and you land on the dashboard. This is your home base, a searchable table showing every survey with the client name, company, assigned accountants, tax year, status, the total RC amount, and the date it was created. You'll notice each survey has a color-coded status badge so you can see at a glance where things stand. Gray means draft, blue is in progress, teal is completed, dark teal is finalized, and violet means delivered. Need to find something specific? Use the search bar at the top, or filter by status, tax year, or accountant. When filters are active, a count badge appears on the filter icon, so you always know the view is narrowed. Every row has a 3-dot menu with quick actions. View the report, edit the survey, duplicate it, generate a magic link for the client, save it as a template, or delete it. Hit New Survey in the top right. A 3-step modal walks you through setup. First, search for an existing business in your client list or enter the details manually. Pick the entity type, S Corporation or LLC taxed as S-Corp. Choose the tax year and optionally apply a role template to get a head start. Next, identify the officer. If you linked a business contact, Debits pulls up associated officers and shareholders with their titles and ownership percentages. Just pick the right person. Or switch to manual entry and type in their name and email. Finally, assign 1 or more accountants to the survey, then decide. Send the client a survey invitation right now, or save it and send later if you'd rather fill things out yourself first. Once you save, you land in the survey wizard. On the left, you'll see a sidebar with your progress, a save indicator, and quick actions. Debits autosaves every few seconds, so you'll always see a saved timestamp and know nothing is lost. The wizard has 3 main steps. Step 1 gathers time and location info across 5 quick slides. First up, confirm the client name and company name. These carry over from the setup modal, but you can change them here if needed. Next, set the tax year and optionally enter the EIN. The tax year matters because it determines which year of BLS wage data Debits pulls for the analysis. Then set the hours worked per week. Drag the slider or type the number directly, anywhere from 0 to 80. This is the total time the officer spends on all company duties combined. Now pick the state and, optionally, a metro area. Once you select a state, relevant metro areas appear in the dropdown. Choosing one gives Debits more precise local wage data for that market. The last slide is optional but worth filling in. Annual revenue, total assets, number of employees, and total shareholder compensation. These fields unlock the market and income approaches, which means a stronger, more comprehensive report. Step 2 is where you define what the officer actually does. Start by picking an industry. You'll see a grid of 18 categories like restaurant, construction, medical, professional services, and technology. Selecting one automatically preloads 5 or 6 common roles for that industry and moves you forward. Now you're on the role selection panel. Roles are organized into 8 categories: management, finance, administrative, marketing, HR, IT, inventory, and maintenance. Expand any category and you'll see individual roles with checkboxes. Mix and match from any category to build an accurate picture of the officer's responsibilities. If you need something specific, use the search bar. Type in an occupation and Debits searches the full BLS database. Results beyond the standard categories appear in a More from BLS database section, so you can add them directly. For returning clients, there are 2 time savers. Copy prior year data pulls in all the roles from last year's survey for the same company. Apply template lets you pick from saved templates, really handy if you work with a lot of companies in the same industry. At the bottom, the selected roles panel shows everything you've chosen as badge chips. Remove any role with the trash icon. You might also see AI suggestions, for example, a prompt to add a management role if one is missing. When you're happy with the list, click Continue to move on. Step 3 starts with hours allocation. Every role you selected shows up in a table with columns for the role name, category, hours per week, and proficiency. Debits gives you a starting point by splitting hours evenly and setting proficiency to 3 stars. Adjust each role's hours using the number inputs. A progress bar at the top tracks your total against the weekly hours you set in Step 1. It turns green when you've allocated everything and red if you go over. Now set proficiency for each role on a 5-star scale. 1 star means beginner, roughly the 10th percentile of BLS wages. 3 stars is intermediate at the 50th percentile. 5 stars is expert at the 90th percentile. This directly controls which wage level Debits uses in the calculation. Once hours and proficiency are set, click Continue to review. You'll see a summary of everything: client details, location, and all selected roles with their hours. If anything is missing or doesn't add up, red alerts will flag the issue so you can fix it before moving on. When it all looks good, hit Complete and Calculate. Debits pulls the BLS wage data, runs the multi-approach analysis, generates the AI narratives, and builds the full report. You're taken straight to the report page. Here's the report. It opens with a professional cover showing your firm logo, the company name, and the methodology used. The Prepared For section shows the client's details, and the determined reasonable compensation amount is front and center. Scroll down to the compensation summary. You'll see 3 key numbers: total reasonable compensation, total hours per year, and the effective hourly rate. Below that, a visual range bar shows where the determined amount falls between the lowest and highest calculated values. The multi-approach reconciliation section is where the real analysis lives. It compares the cost approach, market approach, and income approach side by side, each with its calculated value, confidence level, and weight. At the bottom, you'll find the final reconciled amount. The task breakdown lists every role with its category, annual hours, hourly wage, and contribution to total compensation. Below that, the BLS wage detail section shows the raw data: SOC codes, data sources, geographic match quality, and the full percentile range from P10 through P90. Finally, the tax impact analysis puts 2 scenarios side by side, paying everything as salary versus using the determined RC amount with distributions for the rest. It calculates Social Security, Medicare, and additional Medicare taxes for both, then shows the annual FICA savings and projected 5-year savings. The AI narrative section is one of the most powerful parts of the report. It includes 4 professionally written paragraphs: an executive summary, role analysis, IRS defense narrative, and a recommendation. These give the report real credibility with clients and the IRS alike, and you can edit or remove any paragraph right on the page. The AI Insight section digs deeper with 6 analysis areas. It scores how complete your role selection is, checks whether the hour allocations make sense, reviews proficiency ratings, and flags anything that looks off about the total compensation. Each area includes specific suggestions, so you know exactly what to adjust. Audit defensibility gives you an overall risk score from 0 to 100 with a color-coded badge: low, moderate, high, or critical. It breaks down individual risk factors, highlights potential red flags the IRS might raise, and gives you counter-arguments and suggestions to strengthen the analysis. The remaining sections round out the report: legal citations with relevant court cases, IRS audit defense notes you can edit, a detailed methodology explanation, and a disclaimer with standard professional language that you can customize to match your firm. Before you finalize, you can tailor the report. Click Edit Sections in the sidebar to open a drag-and-drop modal where you reorder sections and toggle which ones are visible. Core sections like compensation summary, task breakdown, and methodology are always included. You can also edit the AI-generated text right on the page. Every narrative block and insight section has an edit icon. Click it, make your changes in line, and save. The disclaimer is editable too through the Edit Disclaimer button in the sidebar. Want to preview the final document? Click Preview PDF to see exactly what your client will receive. If something needs adjusting, use Edit Survey to go back to the wizard, make changes, then hit Recalculate to regenerate the report with fresh BLS data. You can go back and forth as many times as you need. When everything looks right, click Finalize Report. A confirmation modal shows you the summary: company, tax year, client, total amount, and all visible sections. Once you confirm, the data is locked, the PDF is generated, and the status changes to finalized. Now it's time to deliver. Click Deliver, and a modal pulls up contacts linked to this company. Check off who should receive it, or use Select All. You can also add recipients manually with a name and email. Below the recipient list, you can add a custom message that'll appear at the top of the client's report view. There's also a toggle to publish the report to the client portal, so they can access it from their Debits dashboard too. Click Send, and Debits emails each recipient a secure magic link. No login required. They just click the link and see the full report. The delivery status updates in real time in the sidebar, showing whether each email is pending, sent, viewed, or downloaded. If someone hasn't opened their email, hit Resend next to their name to send a fresh notification. The sidebar also watches for wage change alerts. If BLS data has been updated since you finalized, you'll see a heads up about which roles have significant wage changes. Here's what's great about this process. The accountant can fill in as much or as little of the survey as they want before sending it to the client. Or they can send a blank survey and let the client handle everything themselves. It's designed to be simple and self-service, and after the client submits, the accountant stays in full control. They can review, edit, or adjust any data before running the final calculation. Let's look at this from your client's perspective. When you send a survey invitation, they get an email with a magic link. One click opens a clean survey page showing the company name, tax year, and entity type. No login needed. Here's what they see. The client survey walks them through 4 steps. First, they confirm hours per week, pick their state and metro area, and optionally fill in company financials. Then they select an industry and choose specific job roles, the same BLS occupation list you see on your end. In step 3, they allocate hours to each role and rate their proficiency using the STAR scale. A built-in guide explains each level. Step 4 shows a full summary, and they click Submit Survey to send it all back to you. For the final report, the client gets a separate magic link. They click through to see your custom message, the full report in read-only mode, and a Download PDF button to save the official document for their records. Templates let you save a set of roles and apply them instantly when creating new surveys. Open templates from the Reasonable Compensation toolbar. You'll see a card grid with 2 types: system templates that come pre-built for common industries, and custom templates you create yourself. To create a new template, click New Template. Give it a name, an optional description, and choose a business type to make it easier to find later. Then build your role list using the same BLS occupation search you saw in the survey wizard. Set a suggested hours per week as a starting point. You can also save any existing survey directly as a template. From the dashboard, open the 3-dot menu on any survey and choose Save as Template. The roles, hours, and proficiency from that survey are captured instantly. No manual rebuilding required. When you create a new survey or reach step 2 of the wizard, click Apply Template. A popover lists all available templates. Pick one, and the roles load immediately. This is especially useful for accounting firms with many clients in the same industry. Set it up once and reuse it every time. The monitoring dashboard gives you a bird's-eye view of your entire RC portfolio. 4 summary cards show total surveys, how many are current, how many need review, and how many are outdated. A portfolio health ring chart shows the percentage that's up to date at a glance. Below the summary is the active alerts section. Alerts are color-coded by severity: red for critical, yellow for warning, and blue for info. Critical alerts flag things like salary changes that fall significantly below the determined RC amount. Warning alerts highlight BLS wage data that has been updated since your report was finalized. The Client Survey Health table lists every finalized or delivered survey with a status badge, the age of the report, the number of active alerts, and the last RC amount. Green means current, yellow means a review is recommended, and red means the report is outdated and should be recalculated. Click any row to jump straight to that client's report. From there, you can recalculate with fresh BLS data, update the analysis, and redeliver. Monitoring keeps your entire portfolio defensible year after year. That's the full workflow. Create a survey, fill in the roles and hours, generate the report, finalize it, and deliver. The whole process is backed by real BLS wage data and multi-approach analysis, so every report is defensible from day one. Use templates to save time. After you finish a survey, save the roles as a template. Next time you have a similar client, apply it to preload everything and skip the manual setup. Use the monitoring dashboard to stay ahead. It tracks the health of every survey in your portfolio and alerts you when wage data changes or when a report is due for annual review. And remember, you can let clients fill in their own survey. They enter their hours, roles, and proficiency, and you review and adjust before running the calculation. It saves you time and gives them ownership of the process. Thanks for watching.